Welcome back to another episode of Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is Kale, Kali,
Kale.
Kale. Okay, yeah, I had it. We Kale is one of the Sacred Sons co-founders, as well as a cultural innovator towards spiritual activism. So it's such a huge honor to have you on here today, Kale.
Thank you, brother.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel good being here too. Thanks for inviting me. Glad to be a
Yeah,
part of this conversation. Yeah.
for sure, man. This is going to be awesome. We're going to cover Kale's awakening journey, Hawaiian spirituality, and then we'll touch on some men's work and how it's helped both of us. So I'm
Mm.
stoked to dive in, brother.
Yeah, me too. Uh,
Awesome, man. So could you share with us how it all started for you and your spiritual evolution?
yeah, it's a good question. I don't want to take it too long, but I'll say a little something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's it's always been a good kind of exploration of understanding, at least my standpoint. I grew up in a way where I wasn't always, as most people in the society, given a place of understanding that like you have a legacy to fulfill. Like you have a understanding that is built upon those who've come before you. So when I was younger, I had been raised, with my mother and like my grandparents and stuff, and I have a stepdad and things like that. So there was always a curiosity around like identity for me,
Hmm.
because I'm a hybrid person, as we all are.
Hmm.
We all have mixed ancestry. Uh, I didn't know really my place because in the way that I could say it was like I'm Hawaiian because I was raised that way, but I also journeyed a lot and saw a lot of different things at a young age. Uh, right around, I think when I was like 13 years old, I had like been able to experience different places,
You got to
because my
travel around the world?
yeah, well, my mother joined the Air Force,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and then my dad, my stepdad, he was in the Air Force too, and so I was one of those military kids for a
Okay.
while.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
on.
And so for me, I just like I said, I was gonna keep it short. It was like I learned a lot from my grandparents as to like who I am as like a Hawaiian person,
Hmm.
as an indigenous, child.
Hmm.
And as I grew up and got older, and then, consciousness starts to develop and things like that, and you start to understand, like, oh, wow, maybe the things that I've learned isn't always accepted by the larger society. Uh, I always felt like, what is my place, in all of this?
Hmm.
How am I going to not only hold on to who I am as that Hawaiian, which I know to be because I'm brown, I look the way I do. But also, it's like I got European ancestry, I've got Melanesian, I've got all these different things. And so there came a point in my life, like when I was in high school, and I went to high school in Japan,
Oh,
right? So,
wow.
yeah, man. And
Dude,
so
that's epic.
I know I had a lot of multicultural experiences and lived in Tokyo and like all of this stuff. And so there was a part of me that always like clinged to the land, of back home.
Hmm.
Whether I was in different states and whether it was like the Dakotas, North and South Dakota, New York, California, things like that. But there was a point of contact that for me was when I graduated, was like I wanted to know who I am. So I joined Halau when I was like 16 years old. And Halau is a cultural school. And that's
Hmm.
when I really started to understand, hula, the dance, right? And then Oli, the chant, and those parts of me like started to come alive,
Hmm.
which was things that I've always loved. I was one of those kids where it's like I always loved to sing, and then my cousins they teased me, made fun of me for singing,
Yeah,
and so I stopped singing. But then when I joined Halal, I was like, okay, this is my like artistic expression of like who I really am.
for sure.
So it was from that young time when it was actually I was struggling with alcoholism.
Hmm.
I was functioning, but it was like on the weekends, I just get totally blasted.
Hmm.
And then I'd wake up and just be like, oh gosh, like what am I doing? So like physicality was always there. I've been an athlete my whole life and I built a lot of my identity around it. So what had happened was, I got injured. That wasn't there. I joined halal, and that was beautiful. But I was still working, to like make a living while going to school.
Hmm.
And then all of that wasn't working out. I pretty much hit rock bottom, so I left and I went to go live in upstate New York.
Okay.
While I was up there, I got a job at a water bottling plant of all places.
Oh, wow.
I literally was watching plastic bottles, thousands of them coming through, and I worked every single machine from the filler, capper to labeling to packing. Like it was wild, bro. And I had a lot of time to think because I was working 12-hour days,
Hmm.
5 days a week, and then having the weekends off. And that's when I really started to wake up to all of this
Hmm.
because I had a lot of time to think.
Hmm.
And then I saw myself from that point on, I was like, hey, I really need to understand my soul and what am I actually doing? Because all the things that I've had before, like being in Hawaii, you live, it's like you got the ocean, you got all these things. It's like, yes, you're Hawaii, people treat you a certain way, and like the white people are they're the minority, but it's like, what are you really doing? So when I came back home, after all of that, finished my degree, health science, everything, the difficulty for me was how can I continue to live the way that I am, in this society? Am I always gonna work,
Hmm.
uh, restaurants and be a bartender and whatever else? I stopped all of that,
Hmm.
and I took a big risk, which was to become an entrepreneur. So I started working, or I created a business around touring, like
Oh,
kayak
right
tours
on.
to the ocean, taking people out to the water.
Nice.
And yeah, and along that, I was also like doing bodybuilding, like functional movement stuff. And
Nice.
so that's when I really woke up, brother, is when I chose to like step out of that day-to-day thing to
Hmm.
actually create, experiences that I felt like really called to. And halal was a big part of my life, it still
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
with the cultural school, because it gave me that lens of like, how do you bring people into a regenerative understanding about who you are as a human being?
Hmm.
Hawaiian culture, as it is very rooted in land, air, and water. That's the natural law.
Big
And
time.
so that was my awakening, was
Hmm.
it happened practically. It was like I would wake up at 4 in the morning, do everything I need to do, listen to podcasts, go work out, do all that stuff. And then I went out and did tours and took people out to the ocean. And that's when I got to see everybody,
Yeah.
like the turtles, the whales, the sharks, the corals, and, the fish, like everything, and taking people out there and being one of those ambassadors, for our people of like, hey, this is what's really important. Is that whenever you come here, this is home,
Hmm.
this is other people's home.
They call
And
it the Aina, right?
Aina is the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Moana is the ocean. And then we have
Moana.
a
Okay.
we have a saying which is Makutu Makai, which is from the mountains to the ocean. And so for me, it was like one of those things is like, how do I break away from these toxic patterns that are diminishing me and then move towards enlivening myself,
Hmm.
spirit, mind, and body. And that's really when it really happened, when I made that choice to like cut off all the relationships that were not giving that to me and
Hmm.
to enliven and invigorate the connections that were able to bring me closer to my ancestors.
For
Like,
sure.
this is the kind of life that you're living in this modern way. It's a new old way. That's why I like have my thing, like
Nice.
new old way is real. And so that's how it came to be. That's how I awoke into it. And that's when all the songs and everything came, was when I made the choice to cut off, sever. Oki is what they call it in Hawaiian, these relationships, so I can get closer to the natural and
Hmm.
the organic. Like, don't panic, it's organic.
Yeah.
So I had to I had to move through a lot of my own personal stuff, to really get there. And that's when I really awakened. It was the depth of knowing that I felt like a foreigner in my own home sometimes
Mm.
because I had traveled so long.
Hmm.
But the root of what I was given was from my grandparents, my tupuna.
Hmm.
And so I had to call upon them a lot. And I still do to this day. And that's how I've become who I am now, was I had to isolate myself for a time and get
Hmm.
back to the water, into the land, into the air. And so that's how it happened.
That's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful. So when I love that you said it was a choice, because for example, for my awakening, I made a conscious choice and I asked Creator, like, please show me the truth. please show me like why I'm here, why am I feeling this way right now? Like it was that rock bottom, like you had mentioned, right? Like where I was
Yeah.
like, man, like I just feel so down, and I'm such a outgoing guy. I'm, in college I was like the life of the party, and
Oh yeah.
and like I was like, what is happening? Like, please show me,
Yeah.
And I made it like when I asked that, like really from the depth of my heart, that's when I was actually driving out here in Pennsylvania, and
Mm,
I asked, and then the sky opened up. This beam of light shined down on me, and then my Kundalini shot up my spine, and I
mm.
was like, "Whoa, what was that, dude?" Like I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anything. So it just happens like that sometimes, where it's like when our soul is ready, it there's a shift that happens. So,
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Like it came from the choice came from a place of desperation,
mhm,
and that's kind of like led itself through my life is like whenever I feel that desperation, um, I'm not the smartest man around, I'm not the greatest thing that you've ever seen, but I have a really good recovery rate. I'll bounce
mhm.
back.
Right on.
But once it happens, then I learn it as a lesson,
Hmm.
and I take it in. And so I thank you for that because it is a choice. I
Hmm.
really do believe that, as I understand um, depression, like, and there's like clinical depression too. Like there's certain things that have to be, sorted out, for each person as to where they're at. But the last thing we want to do is frame ourselves into that understanding that somehow all these things that are going on around us makes us less.
Right.
It's not true, you
No.
know. And so my choice in that was I wanted to change my life for the
Hmm.
better, but not to do it in a way that was extractive somebody, or colonizer mindset or like any of those things, but I had to work in a system,
Hmm.
right? And it's like you're saying you're out in Pennsylvania and it's like, it can happen anywhere is what I'm trying to say.
Anywhere. Anywhere. And
Like sacred
yeah.
places are everywhere.
Hmm.
But it's like, can you see yourself as that sacred person that is in connection to those things so that it actually makes it real?
Hmm.
That's where I was at, and this is where I am still to this day. So,
For sure, man. And ever since I was a kid, I was super connected to the land, to the animals, to the waters, the trees. Like I would go up to the trees and I would do Reiki on them, not knowing what I was doing. Just I knew it felt
that's
good,
because you're weird.
Yeah, I know. I was weird, but like I was in elementary school, I had similar kind of vibe where it was like everybody from around the world. Like in my class, I had Indonesian kids, I had Swedish
Yeah.
kids, I had um, African kids, like from all different parts of the world. Because
Hey.
I grew up like in a suburb of Washington, D.C. And
Oh,
over
okay.
there, yeah, it's like a melting pot, right?
That's what's
And
up.
and so I loved it. I loved that diversity. I was like, oh yeah, I love learning about your culture. I love, tell me
Yeah,
tell
bro.
me more. Like I had this, like even as a kid, I just wanted to know
You
as
had a
much as I
hunger.
could. Yeah, as much as I could about it. And then I had this deep connection with the land that I felt like nobody else really could understand. Like my
Yeah.
parents weren't there. Like we would go on camping trips, that was our thing, but um, they were connected in their own way, but in a different level of depth, like
Mm,
I felt like I was really like present in there, and they were kind of like, oh, it's
mm,
what trail are we gonna do next,
yeah.
which is all good, and we had a great time, but I always felt that, and from the more I studied, the more I kind of learned about different cultures. I found that Hawaiian culture and Native American culture from different tribes was had that depth
Yeah.
that I was feeling, and I was like, okay, and like when I came to Hawaii, like as soon as I got off the plane the first time, I felt that, I was like, wow, like that energy is here, and it's also like supercharged, like these islands are super sacred, like I could feel it,
That is what's true. Yeah.
and then the more I learned, the more I found out that Hawaii, for a lot of people believe, was the remains of Lemuria.
Yeah.
and I feel like really connected to the Lemurian people, and from that lifetime, I really believe that I had a lifetime back then, and so there was like this like more spiritual, deeper remembrance when I came to the islands. And
Yeah.
I've only been on Maui and Kauai, but Kauai's got my heart from I just
Good for you.
I love it there
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, man. Like I just feel really I
I
feel
love
really
Kauai too.
connected. Yeah, and the people there, man, like everybody's so kind and generous and so yeah, I love that. I love the culture there, and I just there's so much that the world doesn't know about Hawaii. So, um,
Yeah.
could you share a little bit about those deeper native
Yeah.
traditions and the native ways that maybe you studied or have just been embedded into you through being raised there?
Yeah, brother, thank you for saying that. I'm glad that you feel into it too. And like on a soul level, it's like, yeah, there's this thing called Lumeria,
Hmm.
And for us, out here in Hawaii, it's like we don't see it that way. Um, we don't understand ourselves as Lumerians. Like we used to see ourselves as like Po'ehiva, which means like the sacred people from before, like Hiva Hiva Otneo, which means like those are the sacred black of the darkness. So,
Mm,
when it comes to Lemuria, it's an understanding that people has a broader generalization, right? Like as like a monolith. Like because when you talk about Lemuria, we're talking about, 20,000 years ago
or more. Yeah.
or more,
Yeah.
you know. And thinking about cycles, right? And like that's what's beautiful about religions like the Hindu religion, they have those cycles, the Kali Yuga and like all this stuff. But off topic really, but what I want to say is this is like when it comes to understanding on a soul level is that when you approach places, the beauty of that is everybody has a certain kind of design that involves astrology, and the study of the stars, astronomy, and like all this stuff, right? In Hawaii, we already had all of that.
Hmm.
We didn't need telescopes to watch the stars.
Hmm.
We didn't need extra tools to be embedded in the places that we were at. And so when you talk about lineages of people, especially in the Pacific, as we call the ocean today, and Polynesian people, as we call them today,
Hmm.
we never saw ourselves as that.
Hmm.
But those ancient civilizations are still true to us because we still have the remnants of what all those were from that time. And so
Hmm.
our cultures are alive today because of that understanding, but it isn't approached in the same way, meaning that the overarching understanding of a lost continent, because Atlantis could be the same thing, right?
Right.
That's like on the other side of the world, as so I'm told.
Yeah, in the
But
Atlantic Ocean.
yeah,
Somewhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But here at
Yeah.
home, as a person that has learned, all of these things, what I see, as a cultural practitioner, as somebody who's learned from Akumu, who went through his rites of passage and initiations, as a person that has learned from like my own uncles who also went through it all. Their understanding is that like as long as the people know, like when they come here to Hawaii and they feel that thing about being connected and awakening to past lives or to what they see as what can be created, they need to care for the place and the
Hmm.
home always.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're connected to the Lemurian understanding, uh, that even the word itself, Lemuria, is not ours.
Hmm.
But the hope is that you'll understand if that's a real connection and that's important, that you come and invigorate the place
Hmm.
and make it better
Yeah, for sure.
because of that understanding. So a big part of the spirituality here in Hawaii is elemental.
Hmm.
It's getting it back to who we are when we were kids.
Hmm.
And that was our whole thing. The god and the goddess was the woman that holds the baby in her womb.
Hmm.
And the man is in service to that, no matter what.
Hmm.
And it made it very clear. And as you do that, how do you create a human being?
Hmm.
And that's what we did. There's a lot of things that didn't go so well. And we could talk about that too if you want. But the project, we could call it, as being a person that can bring life into the world as a woman. For the man, it was this is the highest praise we can give.
Hmm.
Is that the culture will begin and end with the wahine. And that's the beauty of the language of Hawaiian is because it speaks more to the human soul than it does to the marketplace or the transactional, relationship. Because in wahine, you hear wa, which is the change. Right? There is, I mean, not the change, but like the era, the epoch,
Hmm.
right? There's a certain length of time. And then hina or hine is everything that is feminine. That's why we have the word for moon, which is mahina, right?
Mm.
You look at the phases of the moon. So we weren't conducted upon this Gregorian calendar or whatever,
Right, right.
it was done by the natural.
Hmm.
And so when you look at Hawaiian spirituality, it's not going to be given to you by a 12-step program or like limitlessness or anything. It's just like, no, you have limits.
Hmm.
And the limits is as long as the person is in stewardship to land, air, and water, and they understand that their faith belongs to the women that are bringing the children to, then you're going to create human beings that have a regenerative power.
Hmm.
So a lot of our language is around the regeneration of life around us, not to
Hmm.
diminish it, not to extract from it. So that's really the basis of it. And I
Hmm.
think that's the entirety of a lot of indigenous wisdoms and the keepers of those ways is like come back to that source,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
no
I
matter
love that.
what. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, it's there's no better place to pray than on the earth. So
Yeah.
my favorite so far has been in the sweat lodge, where
Yeah.
you're in the womb of the mother. You're
My
built,
favorite too.
yeah, you build the womb of the mother, and then you're sitting in the womb of Mama Gaia or planet Earth,
Yeah.
and you're sitting there, and you're the songs aren't songs, they're prayers, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like what you were saying is like the depth of the words, and that connection to the land is so deep. And I've been I've been blessed to be in those ways for like 12, 13 years now, and it
Yeah.
it really connects to that little part of myself, or that big part of myself that as a little kid I kept looking for.
Yeah.
And when I found it, I was like, okay, this is it. I want to keep learning and connecting to this. And yeah, man, it's to me, it's like, how can how can we believe in an external God when we're surrounded by so much beauty and God is all around us and we are part of all that? It's like how can we extort
Oh
the
man.
earth and the planet and like
Hey.
take so much, from it when
Yeah.
we're actually like a part of it. Like we're gonna go back into the soil, and even like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just like it's so that's always blown my mind. Like the corporate greed and that
Yeah.
ego driven, like, yeah, let's take, to me, the oil of the planet is the blood. That's how I've seen it in visions, and it's like we're taking the blood of the earth to fuel our vehicles. Like
Yeah.
it's it's really far out. You know.
Yeah, it is. Well, check it out too. This is like on that same level, like I can say it this way. A lot of times everything that we do, as people, we're part of a bigger story that we don't even know.
Hmm.
And we should know, actually, is because the way that we live in this society comes from a certain creation story.
Hmm.
And a lot of that is involved around the Bible or Christianity, because that's just how it went for us, in the United States. And it looks a certain way. And other people, they have Islam. Other
Hmm.
people, they have Hindu religions. They have all these other things, Buddhism and all this stuff. I don't really like to put Buddhism as a religion. I like to see it as a philosophy.
Hmm.
But exactly what you're saying is just like, what is the lifeblood of yourself and what's going on? Like, so if we get back to the real teachings, of the indigenous wisdom. It wasn't about the dogma. It wasn't that there was only one singular person that was a representative of God. We had many gods.
Hmm.
And the importance of that was we're being inclusive. We were wanting to share, the ability to know that everything that is happening to you as a human being is meant to be uh, in reciprocity.
Hmm.
Gods are the way they are because they escaped themselves as humans.
Hmm.
Every god was once a human.
Hmm.
I mean, you talk about that with Jesus too.
Yeah.
So, like, the importance of the spirituality is that we don't leave ourselves as human beings. We stay there and to become the thing that our community needs, right?
Hmm.
To embrace it as a way that says, if we have a spiritual connection to something that's greater and bigger than us, call it great mystery, right? Like, that's
Right.
why I love Sweat Lodge. And that's why I pour Sweat Lodges in that context,
Hmm.
is to invite people back to the plant, the animal, the mineral, the ethereal and the human
Hmm.
all at the same time. Because how are we else supposed to be ourselves, knowing what we know, if we don't have that? That's the basis of our existence, right? And so
Hmm.
what you're saying exactly is like, yeah, how many times are we going to repeat this cycle?
Hmm.
Like you touched on it too, like there's imperialism, isn't there? There's systems that involve racism, and those things are real.
Hmm.
Um, but if we sit in those, then we'll create the same,
Exactly.
separation polarities that they want us to do.
Right.
So the invitation is to embrace ourselves back to elementary,
Hmm.
which means that if you have a faith that a toddler cannot understand, why are you doing it?
Hmm.
You know,
Right.
it doesn't mean that the toddler has the greatest mind of all, but if they're not able to pick it up and see it for what it is and ask the questions that they need to ask as they grow up without saying, "Oh, look at the book." Well,
Hmm.
this is why that doesn't that's a huge bypass.
Right.
So if
Yeah.
we look at our children and they're healthy and they're thriving and they're alive and they can ask their questions without being, ridiculed or judged or punished for it, then I think that's what our spirituality should be.
Yeah. I like that. I really like that perspective. I've never, there's a lot of spiritual books out there,
There are.
and and some of the major ones. Um, it's interesting because, like you
Mhm.
said, some people will go be like, "Hey, look at this page. Here's what it said," but that, like for the Bible, for example, that was written by people, you know.
Yeah.
That wasn't written by Jesus, and it was a group
And it
of
has its own
people.
contradictions too.
Right. And then people can also take it however they want to take it. And there's different levels of consciousness. So at different levels of consciousness, that book is interpreted in different ways. Same thing with any of the other spiritual books.
Yes.
And I mean, one spiritual book that I really resonate with is the autobiography of a yogi.
Yeah, Yogananda.
Yeah, because he wrote it as his life, right?
Yeah.
Like he literally was like, here's my life. Take what resonates. Like some of this stuff is really far out, but like it's possible, right? And he was like showing us that there's
Wow.
these all these different gifts that people can be given if they start to release and surrender to the greater power, right? And
Right.
and then those gifts aren't there to be flaunted. They are there to as a distraction, right?
Right.
And you just keep going along the path and don't get stuck in that gift. In India they call them siddhis.
Yeah, CD.
Sidhi. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that has been really interesting because as I observe my friends that are on the spiritual path and different teachers, they'll share different gifts that they receive, and some people may be able to modify the weather, to be able to like keep the rain out from a certain spot, like for a wedding. I've seen it happen,
Yeah.
or
Magic.
slowing down time and then speeding it up in other parts of life. And then there's the really advanced people in India, Tibet that can levitate and those kind of things. And you know, I think that all these things are here for us to just show us that we are with, like, I believe Jesus was showing us what is possible as a human. He was sharing his siddhis with the world so that so that people would listen and like see that he was somebody to like of that's been through the work, has been doing,
Sure,
has been doing the practices and really diving into himself. And but his
sure,
major teachings were love, and to love your neighbor, and to treat everybody the same. And
sure, sure.
so, that's what I resonate with. And then when you trickle down, titrate all the religions, that's what everything is built off of anyways.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. Yeah, totally. Like, thank you for bringing that up because it's a good topic to talk about, because when it comes to indigenous like wisdom, especially when it comes to Americas, and here in Hawaii and everything else, we've had a lot of messengers before there ever was a Jesus,
Hmm.
and we listen to them
Hmm.
a long time. It's like we have Lono here in Hawaii. Lono was one of those that had come to us, and he brought the sweet potato. How did he bring the sweet potato? Well, obviously, he was somebody who had journeyed, to South America and to bring it back to us, and then also to give it to the rest of Polynesia. It's like we have the word uwala, and in India they call it kumara,
Hmm.
and it's a similar language in Maori. And so, when you look at the etymology of the words that are going on, and like you can see those things like appear in the history. That's the realness of our spirituality. We need to be an academic. You need to be like almost not a scribe, but a scholar
Hmm.
towards these understandings.
Hmm.
It's just like what you're saying is like, this is a great conversation, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because these are kind of the depths that I don't really get to talk about with a lot of people. And this is why it's important is um there have been many messengers, right? If you look at the, you know, Ocheti and um which is the Plains people. It's like there's creator, but there's white buffalo calf woman.
Right.
She was the teacher. Lana was a teacher. Quetzalcoatl is there's the teacher. And Jesus comes in that way. And like for the Western world, it's like that's the one, obviously because of the campaign that had happened, for that religion to be what it is. But we already had that one here too. We call him Kale Kaalekahi, and he was actually like the cousin of Kamehameha, and he had his own disciples and all of these things. It's like,
Hmm.
archetypes of people are real things. Like Jungian psychology is a really deep thing that Western people can tap into, which is
Hmm.
beautiful. And then you have all these other teachers too that really help us, in the society understand like there's checks and balances always.
Hmm.
So what is the process and the progress of the things that we're actually doing? So just to bring it back home,
Hmm.
um, for me, how are we supporting those that have carried the original like instructions, right? The places of knowing,
Hmm.
right? I'm not concerned about the whole story because everybody can say Jesus existed or not.
Hmm.
Everybody can say the same for Lono or White Buffalo Calf Woman or Quetzalcoatl.
Hmm.
But the inheritance is that there are people that have lived that way for a long time as their faith and their religion, and that's animism.
Hmm.
Animism is the beginning of all religions. It comes from the folk way. It comes from the village mind. It comes from the deepest of knowing that if you are able to create humans that continue to give reciprocity to the world, then we're going to create a culture that does that. And there's a
Hmm.
severance that happens, right?
Hmm.
And you can call that severance agriculture at times or domestication, right? So
Hmm.
the story I want to put out there, for the people that listen to this is, look, in order for us to know who we are and where we're at is we have to really be here now and look at the constellations that have shown up for thousands of years.
Hmm.
Not out there. Like I'm not going into the universe.
Hmm.
I'm not thinking about intergalactic nothing. I'm just thinking about, oh, my cousins over there in the jungle, they know this thing and they provide
Hmm.
medicine for people. How do I protect them and know them for where they're at, we'll have to go see them.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing out here in Hawaii. It's like we are giving a particular philosophy, ways of learning, ways of knowing, epistemology, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we do that? Well, my suggestion is get to know yourself through knowing other people. This is what we talked about earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had so many friends that were from so many different places.
Right.
They gave to you something, you had a hunger for it. That's spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
being a cultural person.
Right.
There's certain ways of conduct as a person that shows that you're spiritual. For example, if I go over to somebody, that is in Bali, for example, um, I'm not going to say, oh, this is right or wrong, or this is something that is um, inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm not in that narrow view. What I do, I say, yeah, I'll give those offerings, those sacrifices upon your altar, and I'll pray upon that one
Mm-hmm.
for you, without making myself the preeminent thing.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah, I
much
agree
more
with
can
that.
you be without telling everybody else that this is the larger thing that you don't see? Because being at home and belonging is most important because our identities have been hijacked,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you're out in Pennsylvania, right?
Right now, yeah, I'm out here finishing my book.
That's awesome. And
Thanks,
that's
man.
that's that's what's up because that's where you need to do it, right? To get the book written.
Well, this
But
is
when I
where it
think
all
about
started. This is where it all started for me. So I was like, I gotta come back to where it started because the book is about the journey. So,
yes, bro, that was my same thing. It's like I had to come back home,
hmm
to Hawaii, and that's why we can relate. And when I think about Pennsylvania, I'm just like Amish people, you know what I
Oh,
mean? Like,
bro, yo, the Amish are out here, and I go to their market every Saturday, and and
yeah,
and their stuff is better than organic. It's like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like because
That's what I'm saying.
the organic label, they can like be 30%, without pesticides, but they are the real deal. They're using
Yeah,
cow dung. Their food is next level. Like they're
right.
the best. Yeah, I just had to
Yeah,
say
right. But
that.
but it comes with its own things, right? Like our own judgments. Like, oh, Amish people are like this. There's a lot of complications. Like, okay, cool. But they're like living that life.
They're
That's
doing
how we
it.
are. Well, that's how we are in Hawaii.
Hmm
As Native people, it's the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say is like as spiritual teachers, as guides, as all these things, like the most preeminent thing, the paramount thing that we can do is be at home, grieve, praise,
hmm
love deeply, and create a culture from where you're at so that whenever you go to somebody else, you know that you're in someone else's home and you create something with them and you
Yeah.
innovate with them and show them things. This is what our people did, man, long ago. They
hmm
always gave a cultural exchange alongside of the bartering with the material.
hmm
It was always alive. So there's no singular side of a story. There's
For
a whole
sure.
story. And that's why like personal truths, is a difficult thing to
hmm
walk. The truth that is real is when you see people living in their own land the way that they are and you go to visit them, you don't bring your truth to them. That's missionizing.
hmm
So how else can we move as human beings in this time of great change where it's like you got the AI, you got the robotics, you got the automation, you got 3D printing, you got all these things. Well, it's time for us to really understand what our ancestors did. It's like let us exchange knowledge,
hmm
get back to the earth.
Yeah.
And that's the earth-based wisdom traditions are the things that have always been, and we need to get back to them. Yeah.
Yeah, that hits deep, man. That hits deep. I was originally born in Russia, and
Yeah.
and
How you say your name in Russian again?
Petya.
Pieta.
That's
Yeah.
like Pete, and then Pyotr is the full name. And it's interesting because I took in my teenage years and my high school years, I kind of took a step back and really wanted to completely immerse myself in the, American culture. And I did. I went, all the way over to the football tailgating and getting,
Yeah.
plastered and all that. But I went I went as American as you could get,
Yeah, I feel
and
you.
And now what's been happening is I'm like connecting back to what um the people of like the original people in Russia would do, like a very traditional aspect, like our version of sweat lodge is the banya.
Oh, okay.
So you in the villages outside of the cities, you have like small wooden, they're kind of like little homes, little shacks, and inside of them they'll have huge barrels of water that they'll have fires underneath, and then they'll
Wow.
have a cold one and a hot one, and then there'll be benches, like wooden benches,
Mm,
and it's like a way for a community to gather and
yeah.
to sweat together and traditionally you would use birch branches and
Mm,
you would whip each other with the leaves and you would
wow.
you would open up all the pores and like connect to like opening up the all the meridians, all the acupuncture lines and points and it was very it was a really beautiful way that they still do it in Russia where people connect in those environments. Your neighbors will invite you over, let's do banya and then jump in the cold river and I always loved it, but it always missed that spiritual component. There
Yeah.
wasn't much prayer involved, at least not in the ones that I had been part of.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And so when I found the Native American sweat lodge, I was like, oh wow. So
Just the one.
this is yeah, there's a way to do it where it's like you're praying and there's like this depth to everything you're doing and you're also in community. And so it was just an easy kind of, you know, as soon as I found it, it was an easy transition for me to really resonate with that. So um
I'm
yeah,
glad you brought that up, bro, because that's one of the things that I teach about Lodge. I apologize, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
yeah,
but
no, it's perfect.
um, when I think about Lodge, again, so you gotta go harvest, wood. You gotta tend to the sacred fire. You gotta make sure you got water that's pure. You gotta be sure that you have the materials necessary to create the thing, and you have to build it, and you need to know what's going on, like with all those connections.
Hmm.
So as a human being, it's like you're not seeing yourself just as that singular thing whenever you create a sweat lodge. You have to see that like wherever you're harvesting wood and stones that go into the lodge and the kind of fire that you build and the placement of what that is, all of it has to be on those kind of meridians.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's like you're gonna build a lodge where you put it in the west. That's how I was taught.
Hmm.
That's where the door is.
Hmm.
So then when those things are created, and then when you give the prayers and all of that, like, the songs and everything, the importance of that is that the human being gets back to that
Hmm.
depth.
Hmm.
What are you seeing outside of yourself? What does it mean to actually be a part of this thing where you're working with your hands and you're feeling the life in the plant and the mineral? And that awakens you towards the spirituality, you
Hmm.
know? And it looks a certain way in Russia, and they
Hmm.
might not have it all. And it looks a certain way with our Native American relatives.
Hmm.
And they might not have it all. Same
Hmm.
thing here in Hawaii. We had our own sweat lodges in Hawaii. We didn't call it that, but it was something we call Vaiha, which is the living breath of water,
Mm.
you know?
Hmm.
And so it's like we have to remember that everything that we are doing now in this society, it always came back to the primal, the
Hmm.
basics. Primal in its essence in the etymology, because we're speaking English, primus, the first. It's first nature. If you get back to first nature, then spirituality will show up. The religion will show up. But the difficulty is keeping it there. I'm a 7-year sun dancer. You
Oh, you
know,
are? I didn't know
yeah,
that. Okay.
bro. When we first talked to me, saw me on that call with Sacred Sons, like I had just gotten done with Sundance,
The
and I
first
was out
one?
there. No, no, it was like my fourth
Oh, okay.
time.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you dance
Um,
in Hawaii?
no, no. I travel, man. I go to Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at that time I was out in the desert. It was a tough one, man.
Bro, the desert is the hardest place to dance, I think, in the world.
Dude, it's like it's harsh. It's really hard. And that's okay, because that's like not that that's okay, but what I mean is like, it's just what it is.
Hmm.
That's what was placed in front of me, and that's where I went. But the importance of it is, just get back to it. It was like, okay, if I'm gonna do these ceremonies, why?
Yeah, that's the
Is
big
it for
question.
me? Yeah, is it for me to say I did this and show it else off to everybody on Instagram? No.
Because you see that a lot in the
Oh,
Sundance
bro.
community, big time.
Bro, it's wild. I see like people who are like chiropractors and they're like going to their Sundance and they like put that out there so much and they show their scars. I'm like, man, like this ain't it. That's not what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be someone that understands the message that our messenger had given to us to be like not only humble or have humility, because that's not what I'm talking about. But it's like if people want to know, they should go.
Hmm.
It shouldn't be a part of a marketing tactic. It shouldn't be a promotional endeavor. It should be something that says if it's called to you, then you go. Because every step of the way, you have so many things you need to do. And that's what I need to say about Hawaiian spirituality. It's the same thing. Many people look at Hawaii as a tourist destination. Like they'll say things if it wasn't for tourists and you wouldn't have these things, you wouldn't be able to. If it wasn't for America, then Japan would take you over. That's not true.
Hmm.
We have lived in a way where we had million population,
Hmm.
self-sustained,
I didn't
no
know that.
import, no export.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
people. That's a lot of people, bro.
Yeah, because that's the abundance of the life that we live here in Hawaii, and that was a real thing. Not saying it was perfect, but I'm just meaningless. Like, look, if we're going to give ourselves to something, especially spiritually,
Hmm.
where does it go? Does
Hmm.
it keep going out there, or do we bring it back home? And that's the beauty of the things that you talk to me about, is like I can actually say, like, hey, you know. If we understand our history as a person and understand our ancestors, this is what I teach people a lot. If it's like ancestral connection isn't like thousands of years ago, it's actually like your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, your great, and so on and so forth. If you
Right.
can understand 7 generations, then you're on a good track. If that's too much, put yourself in the middle.
Hmm.
Go 3 generations back and then go
Hmm.
3 forward. That's the key. And I believe as soon as we do that, then the story will change. That's our responsibility now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually a huge responsibility that we're carrying with the awareness that we've been given, even though it's a huge gift. It's a huge responsibility. Like I can't think of one more because
Yeah.
because that alone, we're taking the programs and all the things that our ancestors were carrying, all that pain, suffering, lack mentality, whatever it was
Yeah.
that was, you know, allowing them to survive, and
Yeah.
and our generation, the ones that have awakened, whatever generation that is, we're breaking it all down inside ourselves, and it's not easy. It's not
Right.
easy. And then it's like you're not just working on yourself, you're working on your whole lineage and then the ones that are going to come after, and if you don't have your own children, it's like you're still impacting the children of your friends, your nephews, all the little ones. And so they're receiving that medicine even if you're not carrying it, you know, they're not carrying your actual lineage,
100.
you know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm noticing that, like, my girlfriend has a grandson, and
Yeah.
he's already so tapped in. Like, he's
Yeah.
he's he's like 1.5, almost,
Yeah.
maybe eight a year and 8 months or something. But
Yeah.
he's so tapped in, and he's a blend of every ethnicity you could think of,
That's what's
literally
up.
everything in one little human. And it's so cool because I look at him and he just gets it. He knows what he's here to do. Like I can see it in his eyes, and he's just, it's like it's awesome
Bro,
because I
I
can
know.
I can just I feel like he fully sees me too. Like I really feel like he sees my soul,
Um,
and there's not a lot of people that can really, you know, in
hey,
this society, it's like it's not so easy to be fully seen unless you're there, on
brother.
on that frequency.
Yeah, thank you, bro, for saying that because that's a real thing, is that my daughter, she's 8 weeks now.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you, bro. But yeah, it's exactly what you're saying is like she does the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Every morning, every night, all day long. It's just like, wow, it's just so much love to this baby. And the incredibleness of it all is that she's so much smarter than I ever thought. Nobody ever told me or taught me, like this newborn infant
Hmm.
would show me all these things. They never talked about that, bro. All they ever said was like, "Oh, you're gonna have hard nights sleeping, you're gonna do this and that." I was like, as it happens, it's like I'm willing to give that
Hmm.
because my baby girl is she's that awakened. Like literally, like I'll put her on the potty. We have a little potty for her. She
Hmm.
goes, she goes, she knows what
Oh
to do.
yeah.
Yeah. And then she'll like look, like everybody that holds her since she was young, because that's what I wanted to do as a parent, was to make sure that my daughter was able to be held by a lot of different people. She just
Hmm.
makes eye contact. She
I love
loves
it.
them from there. Like
I
she
love it.
might not see them for who they are. It doesn't really matter, but she's like doing it and everybody's just like, "Oh my God, this baby is powerful."
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what I mean is like that's like she was a little mermaid 9 months in her mother's belly.
Hmm.
She was woven. No, she was braided. She was created because she came from a spiritual realm outside of the human construct, and she chose to come here with us.
Yeah.
And she was formed by her mother, and then when she was birthed and brought into the world, she was continuously giving the gifts to us about that place that she had gone. But
Hmm.
now she's forgetting, she's forgetting. She's
Yeah.
becoming one of us. She's forgetting,
Yeah.
and then she's struggling with it all. And so I want to continue to help her understand that it's like the forgetting will happen, baby.
Hmm.
You're only 8 weeks old. That's okay.
Hmm.
The greatest gift you've given to us, for our community and for, me and your mama is that you showed up because we waited for you and we needed you.
Yeah.
See what I mean? That's what I'm talking about, the faith.
Yeah.
That's the faith, my brother.
For sure.
You talk about Hawaiian spirituality and all those things. Yes, that's where we go because our children give us the gift of knowing outside of ourselves of what we think is important. And that's what our children do.
Mm. Yeah,
And so
that resonates. That resonates real
yeah,
deep. Yeah.
our faith should be that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, for
should
sure.
call to the answer of the baby and guide them and
Hmm.
let them know that where they are at, we're in a time of great forgetting, but I won't let you forget.
Hmm.
You were born, my baby,
Hmm.
to lead something important because you were grounded here at home with your father, who's not only a native indigenous man, but he's a man.
Hmm.
And he loves you and he protects you no matter what. And he'll change your diaper or whatever we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man.
And that compassion.
I feel your heart, man, when you talk about her, man. It's really it's really amazing. I can feel
Yeah.
how
We
much
got to know the
love.
full story, brother.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
for
love and
sure.
that depth,
Yeah.
like what you say, you feel that. It's like, yeah, it's the same thing when you come over here, to Hawaii, you feel that depth.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
the
mean,
same.
I don't really I don't really enjoy the small talk, the little, like I like to just like let's go in the deep end, let's get into it. Let me know who you are. Like it's so crazy because I had a video call with my family over in Russia with my grandma
Oh,
and
wow.
my dad's over there visiting, and it's like it's so shallow. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Like, how are you making money? Like, it's like, all right, let me tell me how you're feeling. Like, tell me what's going on with your heart. Like, how are you? Like, what's exciting you right now in life?
Right.
Like that's what I want to know. And it's tough for me sometimes to see that that's how they still navigate. Even my dad, like it's hard for me to feel his heart a lot of times. I really have to take him into wild nature or blow some hot up his nose to really get him, into the moment, like you were
Yeah,
saying, and
you're working, bro.
so yeah, I mean that's our greatest teachers though, man, our family. They're our
Yeah,
biggest
they are.
mirrors, and I believe everybody's a mirror. In whatever we're feeling from somebody else inside of ourselves is something to work on inside of ourselves. Like it's almost like it's none of my business what that person is projecting onto me. It's how I feel when I receive that, right? Like somebody could curse me out and I could just stand here centered and be like, you know what? I'm good. Like
Yeah.
really like unwavering. But if they're projecting and I feel something inside my body, then I know, okay, that's something I need to work through still. So because it is
That's
possible. It is
it is.
possible to be bombarded and still stay in your center. And I've experienced it, I've witnessed it, and it's it just takes a lot of work to get there for most
It
people.
does, but that's the key to opening, right? Like what
Hmm.
you're saying, this is what I believe. And thank you for sharing that, brother, because it's really important. It's really important to like work on our families and to be there and be present because that's the work is like everybody's perception of what's going on is their reality.
Hmm.
But as long as we invite them to the conversation, even when it's tough and it's difficult, we have to confront it. We can't leave them behind because they are
Hmm.
our greatest teachers.
Yeah.
And that's the power source of it all, is like that's the real love that we have. My mother died August 11th. Her 1 year is coming up this coming month.
Mm.
And I got pregnant and had my baby, and so I think about that a lot. Like it's one of those things that gives me a lot of grief. Because I wonder to myself, my mother, she always wanted grandchildren, and now she's dead. And she doesn't get to meet my baby this way. She saw her. I truly believe that because there's certain things that happen, with baby. It's like, oh, it's my mom.
Hmm.
She's coming back. But it's like the importance of it is that I want my daughter to grow up in a way that she knows that her father and her mother had seen deeper than just the surface level. We're not going to have surface level conversations with this girl,
Hmm.
or anybody else too that comes to hold her. It's like
Right.
she's the invitation to be like, hey, this is what we're doing because that's about community.
Right.
And there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Hmm.
I was like, either this is what it is or it's not because I don't have a lot of time. I gotta take care of this little baby.
Hmm.
And so either we're aligned towards the vision, which that's the difference from dreams, right? You carry a vision for others.
Hmm.
And I've been doing that for a lot of my life. And so my daughter is one of the biggest gifts and visions that I could ever have had. So like what are we supposed to do? It's just like what you're talking about with your family. It's like it's really hard for them because I think somewhere along the way they didn't really understand who they were when they had these children,
Hmm.
you know? They
Hmm.
forgot.
Yeah.
They thought they were just doing what people do. And that's not the truth.
Right.
No,
It's so much deeper and more than that.
it's so much more, man. It's so
Hmm.
much more. And it makes me sad,
Hmm.
that the generations that have come before us didn't really grasp it.
Hmm.
But I understand how it happened,
Yeah.
but I don't have room for it. And
Right.
thankfully, my mother was one of those that adapted herself to the life stages that I was going through.
Hmm.
Now that she's dead, she's offering me another gift. And
Big
that's a
time.
hard complication, because now I have my daughter. So let's take it back right now. Everybody in my life that I have ever understood and known at the level that I was at are no longer with me because
Hmm.
I'm here now.
Hmm.
So I have to create relationships that actually invigorate the channel for my daughter to be in a place, in a context that not she's going to have everything I didn't have because that's bullshit.
Hmm.
She's going to receive the things that I know she needed in the times of her growing up that
For
I
sure.
didn't have.
Right.
So that's the
The
difference.
important stuff, not the material stuff. The
That's
wi-
what I mean.
the wisdom, the teachings, the connection that we were talking about. Hmm.
That's the real spirituality, is how
Hmm.
you teach to them. And
Hmm.
that's what I was saying. It was like, if we're doing things all out there and going further than where we're at, our children aren't going to understand. And what they'll do is they'll submit to it or they'll fight against it.
Hmm.
Plain and simple. So I'd rather my daughter understand that she has a legacy that she needs to build and she's a part of it.
Hmm.
There's consequences and there's possibilities, but that's her choice.
For sure.
If she grows up and she chooses to be a dumb person, that's her choice.
Right, right.
because her parents are not that.
Well, that's an
And I
interesting.
love her anyway.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. I thank you for sharing that because um, I can relate. My mom passed 5 years ago,
Uh,
and it's there's there's an initiation and a teaching in just in that, you know. Um, as soon as my mom left her body, she was in hospice, and I was at the house, and I was meditating, and she came and sat down next to me, and
mm,
she was paralyzed from the chest down for 5 years before she
mm,
passed, and this was her first time being able to be free,
mm,
and she was flying around. She was so whew, she was so happy, man. Like just so happy
wow.
to be out of her body, and she sat with me, and she just like let me know like I'm free. I'm finally free, you know?
Wow.
And that moment, it just reminded me that death doesn't have to be this 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 thing that in Western society it's been taught as like this thing that needs to be mourned and grieved, and like I've
Mm,
watched some of my coworkers and friends like wait like spend years and years and years just in that same like, oh, why
yeah.
aren't they here? I want them here now. Like just not letting go, you know? And like for
Yeah.
me, I knew she was ready, and she left right before COVID hit. And I know if she stayed around for COVID, bro, it would have driven her just bonkers, and it would have been just
Yeah.
terrible for her. And she chose, her soul chose just the right moment. In January 2020, she chose to leave. COVID hit February, March, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was so clear to me from a higher perspective that she chose the exact right moment, and there was this deep teaching for me of like now she's with me all the time. You know,
Yeah.
she appears as the birds in the backyard. She appears as the dragonflies, the
Yeah, you'll
butterflies.
find her. You
She's
find her
always
when you look
around.
for her. Yep.
Yeah, she's always around, and she's always watching over me, and then I can always send her love wherever she is in the galaxy, or if she's I believe in reincarnation, so if she's come
Yeah.
back, I can
As do
send her
I.
love that way too, you know? So, yeah, it's a really interesting for me. It was really eye-opening to have that. But the death that I felt was when she got paralyzed. Like that's
Yeah.
when I felt like she
That's
died
a
to
deep one,
me,
man.
because our relationship went from talking every day,
Yeah.
being super close, to like a text message saying, "Hey, can you pray for me? I'm dying."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man.
so that was
Yeah.
the grieving for me. So when
Mm,
she
mm.
transitioned out of the body, that was the relief. That was the liberation, and for me that was, really
Yeah, brother.
beautiful. Really beautiful
Yeah.
for me to know mom's not suffering anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. Thank you so much for sharing that, man. Thank you. Yeah, that's a deep one, man. I feel for you so much in that. Thank you for saying that because it takes a certain kind of, like intelligence we can call it or wherewithal to experience that kind of death with your mother who brought you into the world.
Mhm.
She's the one who had you in her womb, for 9 months to us, but for you at the time it's probably eternity, and then not only to do that, but to give birth to you. Like, yeah, man, it's a big story, and thank you for sharing that because that's
Yeah.
some deep stuff. Because I didn't have that with my mother, and so there's like different complications to come around it. Just in my own mind about what that means and what that is, and to hear, the struggle that she had by being paralyzed from the chest down. It's like, oh, I don't know, you know, the pain is not comparable, you know, but it's deep. And so thanks for sharing that, man, because this to me is the kind of story that we carry as men. Just so important to be shared and to be heard because there is no future unless we understand our past.
Hmm.
And our mothers, as men, as women, everybody across the world, we all have a mom.
Yeah.
That's the importance of that. It's like we all share that pain.
Hmm.
And I think we really need to get back to that. It's like, yo, My mother died from a heart attack when she was celebrating her retirement with my dad. And I
Mm,
didn't get to see her in that time. And he tried his best to save her, you know. And then your story is she's been in this position for 5 years and she left exactly when she needed to. And it gave you a lot of relief. Like that's the entanglement that we're in as people every day. And I wish people would understand that deeper
yeah.
and really like hold somebody in that in a good way. So thanks for sharing that to me because man, the grief process that I go through, I know you understand it and can relate to it. So thanks for sharing, bro. There's some deep stuff.
Yeah, for sure,
Um,
man. This is why we're here to remind each other. And in men's work,
yeah,
that was one of my favorite parts was that I could I could be going through the toughest thing in my life, right? And show
yeah,
up, and the dude next to me, he's got it 10 times
yeah,
worse than me. And I'm like,
yeah.
what am I even complaining about?
Sure, sure. Yeah, yeah. That's a
And
piece of it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that was just, yeah, one piece of it, but like, that community and being able to hold each other in that
Mm,
space as men, and like being really fully seen, like we were talking
mm,
about, right? Like
mm-hmm.
like in when I would come to Sacred Sons meetings, and then other men's groups I was part of, and so on and so forth. It's like the when it's a powerful one is when everybody can take down their masks, let go of the shit that they were carrying throughout the week,
True.
throughout the day, and just be fully present with everyone there. And then
Yes.
and then that's when the healing happens. Depending, if it's three guys, 20 guys, doesn't matter. It becomes a collective nervous system, and then everybody is like holding each other in that,
Yeah.
and some guys are showing up in their fullest, just like I'm here, let's hold it for others. Other guys are at their lowest and they're like, brothers, I just need to be held,
Yeah.
and to me that continues to be so beautiful because I run a circle in Vegas now,
Right
and
on.
it's like if we're not going deep, what's the point? It's like I'm not I'm not doing this to I'm not doing this to have a tea party and talk about what our neighbors are doing and whatever. I want to
I
I want to
know.
I want to get into it
Ah,
and
no.
get to the root of why you're going through your addiction right now. Why are you repeating a pattern in your life? Like why do you have a charge with this man right now? And and that's the deeper aspects of it. And I've been to all types of circles,
Yeah, yeah.
some that aren't as deep, some that were just like, all right, well, I guess we're doing this. So yeah, it's but Sacred Sons, man, has been such an important part of my journey. I found Sacred Sons in I think 2018, and it was like from the first time that I saw the guys gathering in LA, and in these like outdoor situations before they were doing the circles in person, and like when they were first starting out, I was like, I love these guys' energy. I love what they're doing. I want to be part of it. And then I met them. I put out a prayer. I was like, God, I want to meet these guys. Please, like, open up the path for me to get to LA to them. And then as soon as I put that prayer out, I go to my buddy's what's it called, potluck, and
Oh,
all three of the original
yeah.
founders were there, and that night they signed on the fourth guy,
Hmm.
Neil, and and it was beautiful to be there and meeting them on that night, and then to be part of the second convergence, and to see the beautiful work Sacred Sons
Yeah,
were
man.
doing and are doing, and a lot of the guys from that are still some of my closest friends, man. So
That's what's up.
I'm super stoked because that's how you and I met, was on a call with Sacred Sons,
I
and I was like,
know.
this guy right here, I really like his energy. And I saw you, bro. I saw you as your highest version.
Thank
like
you,
I
man.
saw you as the man you're at now and the man you were really stepping into, and I was like, at least how I perceived it, like
Yeah.
I didn't know you very much at all, but that
That's
was
all good.
my perception of you, right? And and um and the way I
That
saw
means a
you,
lot.
it was really beautiful. I was like, man, this guy is gonna do a lot of great things for the world, and so it's like a full circle, It's
It is. I
cool how it
received,
all,
brother. Thank you.
yeah, it's cool how it all came back around, and you know, I've been one of my prayers has been to talk to somebody who is a sun dancer.
Yeah.
And one of my close buddies, I went and supported him last year
Oh
at
no,
his,
yeah.
at
Right
his
on.
Sundance. Yeah, and he danced up in Oregon, and
Oh, okay.
and it was a really interesting dance because the lead, the chief, got really sick on the first day of the dance,
Oh,
and he had to leave. And so this his second in command stepped up, and it changed the whole energy of the dance. It was
oh,
so interesting because the the first chief, he was really um like outgoing and knew how to talk to the crowd and,
right.
and the community, and everybody loved him, right? And the second in command, he was more serious. He was Inuit,
Mm,
and so he just carried himself in a very different way. And so it was, some parts of the dance were really hard to witness for me because of how he chose to navigate some of the situations that were happening, and and um
mm,
and also the ways that he was running it. It was just, his first
yeah.
time, I guess, fully running it, and it left me. It was my first Sundance, and it was really impactful, especially seeing my buddy um,
Yeah.
piercing and
Yeah.
then having a hard time ripping out.
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk a little bit about that, like
Yeah.
some of your experiences, whatever you want to share.
This is
Be
good.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for going there and supporting your friend, supporting your brother and being there for him, especially with the things that have gone on. And it's your first time, so it looks a certain way, obviously, and with the change in the Sundance Chief. Like,
Hmm.
I've never experienced that. I've
Yeah.
always had that one Sundance Chief um throughout my time. So yeah, I can speak to it. Again, I'm just a baby in all of this. I'm not somebody that is like has the higher word or the authority. I'm one of those who completed his commitment. I did whatever I needed to do in order to get to the Sundance so that I can do the things that were important for the people so that I could pray, for them. And I've got my scars, I've got my things, in that, my sacred items and everything. And I never thought it would be that way. It was different for me. I was invited into it because I've got family in it, and I didn't know, and so it showed to me something different. So that's where I speak from. So when I think about the different Sundances that go on, Sundance is all over. Now like people
Hmm.
take it to Europe. Like there's large communal efforts. In Central South America and throughout the Americas, and it happens every summer. I think the thing I could talk about with that is the importance of knowing is that whenever you go to a Sundance, is that you're a part of something that is deeply sacred and it has been going on for hundreds of years. Since the time that white buffalo calf woman had come to the people to say this is how you need to pray, to change things because you need to come from a place of savagery into a place of protocol and presence and importance,
Hmm.
not to pollute or to diminish your people. And so, being as a Sundancer as I am, it doesn't give me an authority on to say how things should go or not. And that's all I
Hmm.
want to say about that. But what I can do is give an opinion. So I would never want to disrespect my ancestors, first and foremost, or to spirit that has given me these ways, or even to deny the food that my future children are going to have. And so when I talk about these things, the importance is that seeing the entanglement that happens with indigenous people and holding their ceremonies, especially when we have a hierarchy around leadership, we need the men's work too, as
Hmm.
indigenous people. We need to
Big time.
see ourselves outside of it so that we can understand it exactly what it is that we're carrying because what was given to us were from other people that were hurt. And I know this because I have uncles in my bloodline that taught me that they used to go to sweat lodge wearing all their clothes because they didn't know when, the police would show up, for example, and stop it
Mm.
and being shot upon because of racism and like all of these things.
Well, a lot of
So I
people
never,
don't know it was illegal. It was
yeah, it's
illegal to
illegal.
do sweat lodge until 1978,
Exactly.
which is like, what is that? That's 8 years before I
Yeah.
was born.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, it's like
It's
it's
recent.
crazy to think about.
Yep. Native American Religious Freedoms Act in 1978 in August, I think it was. But so when I hear your story, I was like, yeah, man, it's all part of that. It all comes back to it. It's like, how far are we going to go without addressing the symptoms of the things that have happened to us, especially in these traditions? Because for me, as a Sundance, when I went in, I'm still a baby. I'm just touching the surface. But after these 7 years, I understand that sometimes life will look glamorous and be everything you want it to be. But
Hmm.
most of the time, it's not.
Hmm.
And Buddha said that too. Life is suffering.
Hmm.
And I don't think he casted a spell to say we should all suffer. I think what he was saying was like embrace the reality of what it is you're here to do.
Hmm.
And that's what Sundance does to us. Even in my own family, it's like there's complications. My uncles don't get along. My aunties are yelling at people. It doesn't look good.
Hmm.
From the outside perspective, especially covering Western mind of like, well, there's nonviolent communication. Can we do that? You know what I mean? Like, there's ways of, seeing each other, and that's why the men's work is really important. Because I can go in there and they'll talk to me about things. It's like, oh, you a big shot. What, you want to come in or with six pack abs? Yeah, you're gonna suffer. All right.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna put you up. It's good, but just
Hmm.
remember, you gotta ask for help.
Hmm.
And that's a big lesson. So when I come to it, it's like this. There's the water of life. I've denied myself that. There's food that nourishes and nourishes my body. I deny myself that. And not only am I going to do that, but I'm going to dance from sun up to sundown with the sacred songs being played and everything that was set up before, 4 days in preparation for a 4 day ceremony. And then 4 days afterwards for reclamation. That's 12 days of an intense immersion of what it means to be deeply connected to spirit. Things are going to go crazy. People are going to get hurt.
Hmm.
There are things you don't want to see. There are things that people are going to want to mask with this idea like this is what it's supposed to be. That's not true.
Hmm.
This is just what it is.
Hmm.
Because if it's happening to me and I'm piercing, me being on that line is not just there because I think I need to tough this thing out. It's like, no, I'm praying for the benefit of the world, for people. The chief is there, but he's not important. Neither is the medicine man. They're there to hold the ceremony to make sure that it happens and all of us get out of there safely and
Hmm.
not kill ourselves afterwards because we don't understand the world we're coming back into.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? So there's big things at play. And so for where I stand, the importance of me doing that when I started was one thing. When I committed to it, it's a whole nother thing,
Hmm.
which is we need to innovate the culture of our traditions, as well as the people that aren't a part of it need to see us in that way so they can remember their own human soul connected to nature
Hmm.
and the primalness of what that ceremony brings. Because it attaches itself to everything. It doesn't matter what major religion you follow.
Hmm.
Sundance is for the people. And it reminds you of that fact. That's the hard thing to navigate. And so I feel you, brother. I get it. And I don't know you, brother. I don't know what that Sundance is like. But I can say um, I haven't always been uh, the best student,
Hmm.
but I've learned a lot.
Hmm.
And I always respect those that have come to me to do it. And I don't know why they do what they do, but I do see where we can do better.
Hmm.
So it's up to me to create that.
For sure. It's up
So
to
all my
it's up
blessings
to
upon your brother. the one
Yeah, for
that
sure.
stepped into
Yeah,
it, and
I think
all the
he's,
prayers and blessings for him too.
thank you, man. I think he's in it right now, or he's about to be in it for his second year.
Yeah, man.
This was my third year of Vision Quest, and so I,
Hey, right on.
thanks, man. Yeah, and I'm in that space where I'm like debating, is Sundance for me? And
Mm,
I've talked to different elders, and I've talked to many dancers, and I've been around many dancers in sweat lodges, and one of my one of my one of my girlfriend's friends, he passed on, but he had a moment that she shared with me that he like threw down threw down his stuff during the dance, and it was like, why are we suffering? He's like,
wow,
why are we suffering when everybody has to go through their own suffering?
wow,
Why are we up here doing a tradition that people were doing hundreds of years ago in order to be able to get food, to get enough bison to
yeah,
survive,
yeah,
to not battle with the neighboring tribe? Like we were doing this, but they were doing this back then, right? In order to survive, in order to ask Creator to give themselves up to Creator for the bare essentials that we are given today in life, right? And he just like I think he was dancing for many years when he did that, and he was just like, you know what, like you guys can do what you need to do, but I'm done. And he had this like huge epiphany through that, right? Where he was like, I'm not gonna put myself through like all this turmoil and suffering
yeah,
so that you guys can not do your work, right?
sure, sure.
And he said it in a different way, but that's how I interpreted it.
I gotcha.
And it just like it's been something I've been thinking about, because it's like each individual person has to do their work. Nobody
Sure.
can do it for them. And I truly believe that. And it's like I know there's a huge beauty, and this is like one of the most intense spiritual initiations that are on the planet is Sundance. I believe,
Yeah,
from what I've you know
yeah,
seen,
yeah.
and what I've experienced. And it's like, is it for everybody, right? Like I don't
Right.
think it is, right?
No.
So and it's like, there's been many different elders out there that
Yeah,
have had visions of the whole rainbow of ethnicities dancing together, right? And that's already happening. It's already happening, right?
it is.
And that's the beauty of that. And it's like the Sundancers that I've met, if the goal is to transcend the ego and to move through these deeper layers, right? Maybe this is how these men get there, right?
Sure.
Or maybe it's a stepping stone in them getting there,
Yeah,
right? And then if there was this enmeshment of men's work and women's work and then dancing, then it would speed up that process, and it may not need that level of time, that length of time that for somebody might take 25 years of dancing to get to that place, that somebody that's really committed to the path may take them 5 years, it
yeah, yeah.
who am I to say, right? Like everybody has their journey to get
Sure.
there. But and from some of the people that I've seen, that ego is very present in a lot of these guys, and it's kind of like a machismo thing. Like, look at how many Sundance scars I got. My whole chest is all ripped
Right.
up. My back's all ripped up, and then they're like standing there as like this alpha male. Like, what do you got? What do you got
Sure.
to
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like on the streets, right? Like it's like, what do you got? You got the bigger gun, you got the bigger,
Yeah, I
like
feel
what
you.
is what, and it's that energy, right? And
Yeah,
it's it to me, it seems like it's going against the whole principle of it all, right?
sure.
Like if the goal is to experience the Great Spirit and to open yourselves up, like open your heart and really like feel the expansiveness of it all and the depth of like what we really are, right? Which is,
Yeah,
I believe, like a fractal of God, of Creator. Like if that's the goal to experience that, then there's many ways up the mountain to get there, you know?
yeah, yeah. Totally, man.
So yeah, I just felt called to share that because that's been on my mind and
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about that.
Yeah, this is good. Thanks for explaining it. There's a lot of things that I'm picking up on that what you said. So what is a question?
Um, what do you what do you think about the experience my friend had that had been dancing for many years?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think so on the level that I go into it, right? So I just speak from my own personal experience, right? So a lot of what we deal with, in this society is individualism, and it looks a certain way for
Hmm.
everybody. And so trust me, I've seen it before. Like
Yeah.
what your friend that you're speaking on, I've watched that.
Hmm.
I've watched that happen. And I think to myself, like, okay, that's his journey.
Hmm.
And he gave something to us as a lesson. And
Hmm.
thankfully my teachers they see it too. They'll be like, hey, this thing happened. This is what is going on. We'll take care of it as best we can. But it's really upon like what it is that you're giving yourself to, right? In that sacrifice and what that means. So for me, I always came to it. Not that I'm trying to tell people who to be or where they need to go or what's going on. I came to it because I knew there's a spiritual connection that I need to tap into from my own ancestry.
Hmm.
That's always what I did. And there's complications because people have egos.
Hmm.
Everybody looks a certain way. You got people who lie about their veteranship and medals that they've won. You got people that lie, about their credentials as to be like in spaces where they can give people plant medicine. You see
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those things always show up in a certain way. But like to the point of where your friend is at is like, why am I doing it this way? Why does it have to be this way where I'm suffering so hard? To me, that's not what the ceremony is about.
Hmm.
You're doing it in that way and to get it done. That's
Hmm.
all. Get
Hmm.
the job done.
Hmm.
Do the thing you need to do. Get it done and watch what happens later. I don't care if you're in it for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. You get it done. I've watched a man in a wheelchair get hung up on the tree for a day,
Wow.
an 80-year-old man, because that was his sacrifice he had made when in his 20s and he kept doing it. And it
Mm,
didn't matter because it wasn't the first place he did it, but he kept showing up to it. And so, in my mind, there's a deep lesson here that needs to be learned about our individualism and what we're trying to do in our mind and what we're trying to tell people how to be. That's not what we're doing. When we go to Sundance, it's for that ceremony. Watch it play out. Do what you need to do, get it done because that's your commitment, and then finish. If it's not
mhm,
for you, it's not for you. My cousin, who originally brought me into the Sundance, no longer goes to Sundance because of those complications, but he fulfilled his commitment.
mhm,
He did what he needed to do. If there's a type of experience or interruption that comes from a man like that, like with your friend, there's no judgment upon him.
mhm,
That's what he did, what he needed to do. But we have to understand that there's a kinship worldview going on that is outside of it. And when I was growing up, I don't know your friend, but I can say it to myself, like when I was growing up, all I knew was to take care of my family, no matter what.
mhm,
And then I grew up and I was like, I can't do it that way. So I
mhm,
have to change. So I created that in the day to day. But
mm,
it's the day to day thing that you're experiencing that creates it for you. Our children are growing up knowing brands more than they know plant names. Our children are growing up knowing YouTube influencers than they know their elders. Our children are growing up not understanding how to take care of their parents who brought them into life. That's why I go to Sundance.
mhm.
And
I love that.
if somebody loses it, they lose it.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it before. And that's okay. I don't want the machismo. I don't want the harder you go, then the better you are, and somehow you have an authority because you have more piercings on you. It's like we live in a modern society.
Right.
Like I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
But as a person involved in the ceremony, that's not a chief and not a medicine man, because I know them, I could never place myself above them because I don't know what their life has been like and I don't know what's going on with them. But I'm there for the ceremony, get the job done,
Hmm.
complete it, take care of your baby girl.
I love that perspective, brother. I think that what you mentioned right there, it's all about the intention you go into it with
Yeah.
and what it is that you as an individual are desiring to get out of it. And the connection is going to be different for every person because everybody's journey is different.
It is different. It is, but when you hop into that ceremony, you're giving yourself to everything.
Hmm.
That's the issue here. Same thing
Right.
with Amblechiapi. Like when you do Vision Quest, it's like that one's for you.
Right.
And it looks a certain way for you. But when you go to Sundance, you're going to be given to everything. You're going to be devoured.
Right.
And that's the point.
Right.
Because there's lessons after that will come. And this takes years for people to adapt to. And if you want to make a scene, okay, do it.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. No, but I can feel as you were sharing that, I could feel where you're coming from,
Yeah.
like how you're addressing it and how you're stepping into it. So that's I think what I really needed to hear is that, the way
Yeah.
you expressed it, it hit something deeper inside me. And there's like a deeper landing for me now, you know.
Yeah. Right on,
It
man.
landed. So thank you for
Thanks
that.
for receiving it, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that because it's not easy always to tangle with the understanding of a kinship worldview and like the individualism because every day we're living through it. And so I appreciate that you're able to go there with me too, because it's like, you know, no matter what, the person is part of Sundance. That's all that matters.
Right.
They've given themselves to something that I like. You think of the larger population, how many people are Sun dancers and actually fulfill their commitment? It's like less than 1%.
Oh, bro. Yeah. It's like a fraction of a percent.
We're so small, man. So I don't ever give any complications to my brothers or sisters that hop into Sundance about like where they're feeling, where they're at all.
Right.
It's like you're
Right.
here. You're
Right.
here.
You're
And
doing it.
everything you do, you're fucking doing it. It is
Yeah.
beautiful and it's great. And I wonder, about our communities because of you.
Hmm.
Thank you for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and the bigger thing is that this is bigger than, like you said, the individual. It's these people are stepping into something for the greater good,
Yeah.
and for that's kind of hard to grasp for a lot of people, right? Because
Oh yeah.
it's no longer about self. When you're in that, it's like you're doing it for the community, and from there ripples out to the whole world because that community is connected to literally every single person in the world. So when you look at it that way, it's like you're doing it for the whole planet, you know?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And that's a big thing to carry. So when I say it, it's just like when in doubt, stay out.
Hmm.
It's the same thing with the ocean. If you don't know the undercurrent, you don't know how the waves are going, stay out the damn thing.
Hmm.
But if that's what you want to do, it's going to come with a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And you need to be able to handle it,
Hmm.
take care of it. Not because you know it better. People should do it better because that's a different mindset.
Hmm.
That's a missionizing mindset.
Hmm. For
Can't do
sure.
that, you know? Like I said, it's not a judgment, but it's an understanding. And that's what I've lived through, and especially with this. It's like, my teachers are not the best people, okay? But they do it that way. And the people that I know that I imagine that are doing it great, they're not happy either. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not like, stoked on life either because they're holding so much. So it's like, what ceremony do you want to be a part of? Pick your ceremony.
Right.
It's going to show you because it's going to show you your humanness and it's going to show you how much spirituality really takes a toll on who you are. And it should. it should be something that really gives you a sense of yourself that you've been invited to. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility. In Hawaiian, we call it kuleana. You have a kuleana to a people, into a culture, into a way.
Hmm.
Things will change through the children, but not in the moment.
Hmm.
That's childish.
Well, I believe that people can change in the moment when they do the work.
They do, but not in the sense of like who you are at that time, believing it.
Mm.
Like this is where it is, you know. It's like I believe everybody could change it, but there's certain core things about them that's real. And they're also moving through different contexts that we don't understand. So the philosophy that comes from the indigenous wisdom is yes, everybody is on their own journey. Yet if we keep doing that, then we're not all together in community. And that's why
Right.
everybody's suffering from. So we have to be able to put ourselves in a communal understanding with our individuality and what
Hmm.
we're giving to it. So yes, moment to moment, we can cause change.
Hmm.
But when it comes to ceremony, no. You are now involved with the creation, the environment, the context, the years of lineage that are there, and it's gonna hurt. I mean, bro, I've had so many people come to Sundance in the times that I've been around that have like come and gone because they didn't like how people were doing things.
Hmm.
I get it.
Yeah.
You don't like it, it doesn't suit you. Okay, so when does the village show up? When we're no longer able to sit with the things we don't like, or you don't like how it is. We need to invigorate the channel, and that's what I've done too over these years.
Hmm.
There's a certain quality of time and length and nourishment that needs to happen in order for people to be like, that's someone to listen to.
Hmm.
Every time I've gone to Sundance, I gave myself financially, my time, everything. I've given over like $30,000
Wow.
to be a part of something over 7 years because I had the capacity to do it.
Hmm.
you know
Yeah.
but I still have to work and I still have to take care of things, but that was what it meant to me, was that if I can make sure that my people have the things they need to have a good kitchen, to have a good arbor, to have the trailers that they need, then I'm not going to go and do it. And that's what I do here back at home. Same thing. And I think there's very few men and women that understand what it takes to go there. And that's our conversation, right? Because I
Right.
know you get that and you see it. It's like the Amish. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
man.
that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything about them, but I appreciate them.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
got better. They got better than organic foods. So you told me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
If you ever come out to Pennsylvania, man, got some of the best Amish food over here. But yeah, man, I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think my last question for you will be, is there any spiritual experiences from Sundance or Sweat Lodge or any of those experiences that you'd like to share that maybe people could resonate with or learn something from?
Yeah, brother. Thank you for the question. I really do appreciate all the questions you've asked previously because these are things I really wanted to talk about. And so I just want to, give my praises to you in this way of your connection and not just your cognition, but the deeply heartfelt ways that you journey with this. And I could say it like this, right? Is in my gratitude for you.
Thank you, brother.
I know who I am because of Hawaii.
Hmm.
I go to Sundance somewhere else because it's part of my bloodline because I'm Dakota. But that wasn't the preeminent thing that brought me to it. First and foremost was elementary school. Always. I learned how to farm, fish, hunt, and fight. Like that's what I did. And so it brought me to places before I even went to Sundance where I'd be out in a canoe in the middle of the ocean, moored out there by myself for 3 days under the sun. No
Oh,
food,
wow.
no water, and watching the life around me show
Willingly.
up.
Willingly.
Well, it was part of one of my initiations,
Oh, okay.
and then I've also been buried alive,
Oh,
for three
wow.
days, so it was like there was things that led up to it,
Hmm.
and so what I want to say is like the importance. What was the question again? So I can get clear one more time.
Any spiritual experiences at Sundance or Sweat Lodge or anything like that you feel people would benefit from?
Beautiful. And that's where I was headed. So thank you for reminding me because I was feeling that from all those things that I've done previously, right, to get to Sundance, it was a go ahead. When I went to Sundance, I didn't even know what it was. I had never been to one. What had happened was I had a dream and I saw a big tree and my grandfather was on the lanai, what you guys call a porch. And my grandfather's been dead for some years. And he was in a rocking chair. And he's like, look outside. I'm like, okay, there's a big tree. What do you see? I saw birds, different colors, black, red, yellow, white,
Mm.
green, blue, purple, going in and out of the tree. Chickens, like all that, all around this big tree. I'm like, okay, I see. And I told my cousin about my dream, and he was a Sundancer. He's like, it sounds like a Sundance dream. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, cool. And then I have another dream. And so what I see is a big bird. It's not an eagle. It's just a big bird. I don't know, maybe a prehistoric bird, dinosaur bird. I don't know.
Mhm.
And it's flying around me, and I'm laying down. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm dying.
Sounds like the
And
Thunderbird, bro.
something like that.
Mhm.
The bird come down, put his claws in my chest, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, this hurts. Why is it this happening? I can't talk. And then it releases and lets go. And I'm there suffering still. And I'm like looking around, like, where can I get water? I'm thirsty. And then I stop with my mind. And then I start to hear a gurgling of water. And so I'm able to like crawl and get up. And I crawl and I crawl and I crawl. And then I find that there's water spilling out of this rock. And it's just spilling, creating a small little stream,
Mhm.
just like 5 inches wide. And I drink from it. And then I wake up. And so from that time, when I had those visions, I was given certain items. One, I got a Sundance amulet from a Miwok tribe that owns land out in Launiopoko here in Maui. They
Mhm.
gave it to me. And then I was given from another uncle my skirt. A woman had said, there's a man coming to see you. He looks like this. She was describing me. It was red and yellow skirt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. And then I went to a very special ceremony called Yuipi. And this is my blood uncle now, and he leads that. And he asked me, "You gonna go to Sundance?" I said yes. And he gave me my feather fan and my eagle bone whistle. So those are the spiritual experiences that I had leading up to ceremony.
Mhm.
All these things had come to me in the dream time,
Mhm.
and I didn't know. And then when I showed up to the dance, I already knew what I needed to give, and so I went, and I got everything I needed. In that span of the time was like a year.
Mhm.
And so the spiritual teaching there is this: cultural education will only come to you if you understand yourself as a relative. Okay. Your choices, your conversations, your community, the way that you involve yourself will always have a ripple effect and will come back to you. There is no right or wrong. There's possibilities and consequences, and it takes a certain kind of memory to call something like that back. It also takes a kind of person that is willing to give themselves to that deep remembering. And it
Mhm.
causes grief and it hurts. It has to, especially as men,
Mhm.
because we have to endure something that not only gives us another plane of reality of existence, but we have to do something that allows it to flow itself through the choices that we make.
Mhm.
And that was a deep thing that I got to learn. I was like, I'm not doing this because I think I'm better than everybody. I'm doing this because I deeply feel about what's happening and I'm sad.
Mhm.
I'm really, really sad.
Yeah.
And this movement is the only thing that has really helped me feel my sadness and do something about it. Because everything else told me not to. But when I really felt my soul and saw the messages that ancestors were giving to me, then Creator said, it's time now. And so I went. And so the other part of it is when I became a pourer for Lodge, I did it because my grandmothers came to me.
Mm.
So grandfathers came for the Sundance, grandmothers came for the Lodge.
Wow.
And they said, this is a turtle lodge.
Oh, I love that. Turtle's my favorite. One of my favorites.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. And they're
Nice.
like, the turtle is here. And
Wisdom.
whenever, yeah, terrestrial, aquatic, all the stuff, great mother, always birthing, site fidelity, all the mothers, grandmothers, and cousins, all same time, birthday babies, make the burrow, do the stuff. Not everybody gonna survive, there's layers, right? And so
Mhm.
that's what I did with the lodge was like, this is a space for women
Mhm.
because I do the man work. I do that way. But I need to create this for the women. And so that's how it goes. It's led by me, but always the invitation for women to sing, to bring their medicine, and to open up for if there's a lodge pour or if there's a women's circle that needs to happen. And that's what we do now.
I love that.
And I learned that from my traditions here in Hawaii because we're matriarchal and I am my mother's son.
Hmm. I love that, brother. I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you
She
for
loved
sharing that.
turtles.
What's that?
She loved turtles.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. Turtles are the best, man. And I know I have a strong feeling that your mom's really proud of you, man.
Thank you,
And
bro.
I know that you're a great dad and you're gonna continue to be a great dad. And
Thank you, bro.
it's been such an honor to have you on, brother.
Um,
This is true honor, man. I really felt your heart today, and it's been really amazing, man. I'd love to sit and lodge with you one day.
let's do it. Let's do it. Sounds
Yeah.
good for me. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Hey, malama ika aina, take care of the land. She'll take care of you.
Love you,
Have
man. Until next time.